Well, the first thing I thought was, gee, I really hope I don't look like that. But what I really like about the relationship that Emma and I have in the movie is it's a relationship that I think many families can relate to. The overprotective father, the teenage daughter who wants to have some adventure and explore, and the transformations and the growth they go through together makes for a very funny and a very heartwarming experience.
I completely agree. I second that strongly. And all I can say is playing Eep was one of the most fun things I've ever gotten to do.
50% of performance is voice. And in between some of the other movies that I make, it was a great opportunity for me to stay in shape, stay in tune. I consider all acting to be music on some level. And so I would go to work on the Croods in all different areas of the world. I'd work with Chris and Kirk, who are wonderfully playful and creative filmmakers. And they'd put me in a little box with a microphone. I would not go in prepared. I would look at the lines as they were written that day, and then they would just say, you know, have at it, let's see, let's go. And I would start imagining things, remembering images from my past, remembering the most abstract sounds. It could be something as remote as a television commercial, anything coming in and informing the character. And the great thing was that they could then cherry pick and choose what worked and discard what didn't work. But it kept me in shape. This is like a 2.5-year process. So every time I went in, it was like an opportunity to stay in tune with what I call my instrument.
I think The Croods has elements of all of my favorite movies, which is that it's not just funny and it's not just heartbreaking. It takes you on a journey throughout the entire, film. I cried and laughed and just went along for the ride and enjoyed myself the entire time. And throughout recording it, you come in and you're doing different things on different days, or the whole thing in one day. And when you see how everything plays out in the end, you realize that the messages, which there are many, many messages in this movie, stick with you after the fact, but you're not sitting there thinking about the themes. You're sitting there really enjoying this family. And it's different than any other animated movie I've ever seen, in the sense that it feels so true to life the entire time, even though we are in the Stone Age. Which of her abilities? I'll answer that really quickly. Her strength would be unbelievable. I break my body when I try to do anything. But what I loved most about playing Eep is when I first went in 2.5 years ago, I had done a lot of ADR for movies like Easy A, movies that I had done narration all the way through. And I kind of thought it was going to be like that. I walked in and I just sort of thought, I'll read my lines and play the character in that way. And then as time went on, I worked with Chris and Kirk. I realized there was so much physicality and that you really are playing an animated character, and that was the most ideal situation ever, because I came from improv and sketch comedy, and I never, I always want to go bigger, bigger, bigger. And in something like The Croods, especially with a character like Eep, you can't go too big. And so it was so much fun to be able to climb and run and jump and all of the physicality that comes with playing an animated character that I didn't realize at the beginning I would get to experience. It really is just playing another character. It's not ADR at all. And so it was incredibly fun to learn that, and maybe I was just closed-minded before. I had no idea it was going to be so physical and such a blast.